Hello everybody, welcome back to Music Talk Live number 44. And hello Alex, Jose, that is Art, good to see you all. If you're new, please do join us in the chat room, so it will make me feel a bit more comfortable knowing that I'm not here talking to myself. What's up everyone? So I see you guys are doing great. I'm fine too, thank you. I'm pretty good. And I got a new something to show you. I do this quickly because I know some of you don't care about this stuff, but look, check this out. Same person who gave me those tape recorders, she's found this. This is an old camera, but it does record to tape, to high 8 tape, and the microphone is pretty cool. It's a stereo mic. So it works. I don't know what I'll do with it, but she didn't want to throw it away. So she said, I know a guy who, who takes all my garbage off of me, and so I have it, and I might use it to record something as a stereo mic, maybe some really lo-fi thing. I don't know why I'm getting into all this stuff, but also I might do some videos, who knows. And it looks straight out of the 90s. So I remember when I started out playing guitar and my parents would come and see me at my concerts. I was only 15 or probably 15 or less, and they would come and see me at shows when it wasn't too late at night, and they filmed me, and I actually have a movie of me playing somewhere from back then, but I don't know where it is. So if I find it, I'll make sure to post it if it's not too embarrassing. And so yeah, you see, I'm kind of the garbage guy. People who don't know what to do with their stuff, they just seem to send it my way, and I don't mind. As a matter of fact, this one I showed you a while ago, this little tape recorder, I filled 2 tapes already with ideas. And so 2 of them have moved on in the chain of composition, and they're now on the 4-track, so they will be developed as songs. And yeah, so anyway, what I've been doing this week, well, let me first show you this little animation here, because it will really help me out if you can do all that if you're new. If you come from the future, make sure you check out the previous lives that we had. Some of them were pretty interesting. Some of them were very focused on teaching, and now I'm kind of doing something a bit more relaxed, because I've been focusing on teaching on Tuesdays now with the 1 chord a week series. Have you guys been watching it? Have you found any chord of the ones we saw that you like? I think I only have 1 of those left to record, so I might have to do that this week. This coming week, maybe on Monday or Tuesday, I'll record it. It's the big one. It's the last one, and I saved the big one for last. So it's going to be a big one because it encompasses 8 chords, I think I have to record at once. And after that, then I will probably start on the 21 licks series. And speaking of 21 licks, let me give you this little plug here, but it's not a plug because it's free, so I don't mind if you get it or not, but I think you should get it, because it's my little gift to people who maybe can't afford a lot of, maybe a lot of teaching material or a lot of online lessons or even normal lessons. I know some people have been hit pretty hard by this virus thing. Maybe you're a young kid and your parents can't send you to class, so maybe amongst all the videos that I make and the encyclopedia that came out a few years ago and the 1 chord a week thing and these streams, and you can come in and ask questions, and this little book, 21 licks, you'll be able to get a head start, That's kind of the idea. And you can find it below. There's a link, no email, nothing attached. You can just download it. It's a link, you download it, and that's it. I don't even know who you are. But if you want to share, if you like it, please do share. It makes me feel good if you're using them and taking advantage of them. Jose says, to me, it seems that analog devices have a good psychological advantage in creation process. Yes, they can be fun. To me, it's just a matter of committing, and I use Pro Tools the same way. Pro Tools to me is, I do a take, and if the take is good, that's it. And if I need another take, then I'll do another take. And if after 5 takes I can't get it, then I stop, I practice, and then I go back to it. I have nothing against people who copy and paste and do all that, but I just don't have the patience for it. I have patience I'm patient enough to practice, but I'm not patient enough to go like, okay, let me take this note here and put it there. If it's a technical thing, I might do it sometimes. If you have a great take and 1 note is off, or maybe something happened and you hit the pick too strong and you hit the pickup, then I might replace just a little piece. Otherwise, I don't usually go beyond what you would do with the regular tape, but to me it's a commitment thing. And tape it makes everything so simple. Just hit the button here, and I got my stuff recorded on the tape. It's that easy. About your chords, I've seen them. They're excellent resources to study arpeggios. Oh yes, yeah. Well, there's a lot of advantages, and I recorded the 1 chord a week thing. It's actually almost fully recorded, but it will go on until October. Okay, so you can imagine how many hours of video I've recorded. And of course, they have to be edited, but I wanted to make sure because there's going to be some changes coming up. And I didn't want to miss any one chord a week video. So I've been madly recording probably more than one a day for the last few weeks. And there's going to be a lot more coming. And throughout the videos, I sometimes drop a few hints, that chords are really a mean to understand music, not just chords, because sometimes we can't even play all these chords, right? You're playing rock music. Well, this specifically is a clean sound, but if it were a bit distorted, then a lot of those chords are out of reach. I can't play big, rich chords with a lot of extensions and a lot of dissonance with a distorted sound. It would sound like crap, right? So what you do is you learn about the possibility of these chords, which sounds kind of weird, right? Because you spend a lot of time studying chords and then you don't use them. But what you use is the actual sound of the chord. And I try to do it with my students. I tell them, okay, now let me play a C minor chord, right? Let me play a C minor chord. Now, what do you hear? And the beginners and even advanced students who've never really studied chords, what they hear is the minor scale, the minor pentatonic. Maybe they do a bit of Dorian, if they're into that. But they don't go beyond that. And to go beyond that is really where studying chords really helps out, because you hear these chords and you're like, okay, so now I understand that over a minor chord, I have these possibilities, right? I can play this note. I have no idea if you're hearing me now. But you see what I mean? This is from last week, right? And then maybe there's a ninth on top of that, right? Or maybe there's a chord like this. Or maybe like this, wait, look. And when you hear that chord, you're like, okay, maybe I can't use that chord in my songs, but I can certainly take a C minor chord and emphasize those notes. And that will kind of make your head work and your brain work a bit better at finding scales and all that stuff. Yeah, so that's the idea behind one chord a week. So make sure you check it out. It's every Tuesday. If you're not subscribed, hit the bell and you'll be notified. And so one thing I did this week is, by the way, if you're new here, there's a topic almost always for these videos, but then it's free. So we'll reach each topic freely, right, when we want to do that. So it's a pretty relaxed thing. If you want strictly teaching, there's a Q&A, so you can ask questions here and I will try to help you. That's the first thing. Second thing is the Tuesday thing, because one chord a week is extremely centered on teaching. And now when I start a new series on the 21 licks, that will be about teaching. It will not be about talking. But on Saturday, I kind of want to relax a little bit with my friends here from across the world. We got Canada, and we got Mexico, we got Spain, we got India and Sri Lanka, we got Turkey, we got people from all over the world. And we just sit down and relax and talk guitar, and you can ask me any questions you want, okay? And I'll have usually a topic somewhere. But what I decided to do this week is that I realized that I keep asking people to subscribe to my channel and to leave comments and to like the videos, but then I never do it. I never do it to other people. I mean, I do it if I know you, but sometimes I find myself watching a video and I go like, well, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you comment? If you enjoyed the video, why didn't you participate? Why don't you do something to help him out or her out? And so just, when was it? Yesterday, I found a video about Deadmau5, who's is a very well-known EDM, composer and producer. And he has this video out. You see Deadmau5 rants about kicks. I don't know, I found it very interesting because I was kind of looking into some kick ideas, kick drums. And of course, EDM has nothing to do with what I do. But I decided to leave a comment, and it felt really good. So you see, I'm right there, 1 day ago. And it felt really good to let people know that I enjoy their material. And I figured, you're a bit of an asshole because you've been asking people to do that with your stuff, and then you don't do it with other people's. And one thing I've always done was always to write people if I like their music. That's something I've always done. I remember the first time Ronnie answered me, before I knew him, Ronnie Dio, and his guitar player. And then, I always used to write to people, not because I was kind of fanning out. I would just to go like, oh, I really enjoy your music because I thought it would make them happy. And I've always been surprised by how happy it makes people, even when they've reached, even when they sold like 100 million records. If you're sincere, it's really appreciated. But then on YouTube, I never translated it. So I decided that, I will do that. I will start letting people know when. So I was watching Lisa Belladonna. She's a great synthesist and electronic composer. Well, not electronic, not dance music, but it's more like a soundtracky thing. And I left a message, and it feels really good, to share that. And if I have something bad to say, of course I won't say anything. But But of course, Alex, I left you a message because your cover of one was mind-blowing. So what else? Yeah, and then that's it. So actually, the Deadmau5 thing made me think about the topic for today, because he's a master, of course, at what he does, and I'm not I don't really know his music. Actually, after that I watched a couple of videos of him performing live. But what is beyond any doubt is that he is an expert, right? He is an actual pro doing stuff. And his complaint, you can watch that video. Let me show it to you again if you want to search on YouTube for it. It's Deadmau5 rants about kicks. And it's about, he starts by saying that he's tired of all these pros online giving these pro tips, and they're just bullshit, And he's like, stop doing that, and basically he's like, shut up and do your thing, but do it. If you don't know what you're talking about, don't teach. And that's basically the thing. And so it got me thinking into the whole phenomenon of YouTube and how it's become, truly like a place where everybody can say anything, which is great. But where everyone can say anything from a position of authority that is it's self-appointed, because you go like, I'm an expert on this because I make videos. But that doesn't make any sense, right? You should be an expert and then make videos, right? So it got me thinking. It got me thinking about responsibility when you make videos, because we all take it lightly. I'm like, hey, the more subscribers, the better, because then when I make a record, more people will know it. And if I open online lessons, that I said last week I would, then the more people I have watching me, the more people will sign up. And that's all legitimate, I think. But you can't use teaching as promotion, because teaching is a very delicate thing. And I've had hundreds of students through the years, and I would never dream of telling a student something just to fill the hour. Like, he comes for an hour and I go, I don't know what to tell him, so I'm just gonna blab something out and see what happens. And it's incredibly frustrating, because I see a lot of people who tell me, students who tell me, yeah, I saw this on YouTube. And it's sad, but as soon as they say that, this red light comes up in my head. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a problem. Because for however many people who are really legitimate experts at something that are on YouTube, the most of them, they're not. And usually it has become a way of getting you into something. So maybe there's a lot of product placement. So I just bought this and I just bought that. And even if they're not sponsored, because maybe they're not sponsored, but I know that if I show you this, you'll be interested and you will click on my videos, right? Now, this is a strange thing you'll never be able to buy. And if you buy, certainly, is not something that will break your bank. But when I'm starting to enter into the loop where I have to buy 1,000 amps because every month I have to make a video on an amplifier, and make you think that it's a great amplifier, and maybe I'm not even getting paid by the amp company, but I'm still getting you to watch my video. And sometimes I might even return the amp after I made the video. That's crazy to me. That's crazy when I realize that a lot of people who watch have no idea about amplifiers. And so they might think that, that the fact that you buy an amplifier kind of in a way will make you a better guitar player, and maybe you even accept that somebody's teaching you is a great guitar player, where really they haven't been in touch with the world of playing guitar, the real world, which is performing, which is teaching other students. Like, how many students have you had? How can you teach if you've never had any students? Now, maybe after you had 100 students, you will know something about teaching, I think. Not much. I had a good friend, well, I still have a good friend, but he is a great sound engineer for live shows. He's worked with everyone. I won't give you names, but he's a big name in the game. And he said, don't worry if you're recording something and you're not 100% sure of it. I did 2 shows a night for 10 years straight, and after 10 years I thought I was almost starting to understand things. Okay, so what is the percentage of people on YouTube who teach you stuff, who have gone through that? And there are few, there are a few who actually have, like Deadmau5, right? When he sits down and he says this, and this, it might be an opinion, but it is an informed opinion. If I start talking about mixing drums, and I've had decent results with mixing. I've mixed my own records, and you can see a progression. And I think, I've never had a complaint about it. And actually, the last 2 records have gained quite a few accolades for their sound. But I'm certainly no mixing engineer. I'm certainly no mixing expert. I might give you an opinion. I might give you something that I say, well, I tried this and it worked. I might be comfortable teaching about guitar. I might be comfortable about being seen as an expert on music, but I would never be comfortable seen as an example, for example, in engineering and producing. I might be an example of producing your own music, right? The difficulties of doing it. I got a record that hit #1 in the overall charts in Spain. And it's an instrumental self-produced record. Lights and Shadows went to #1. It was Beyonce, Drake, me, and I don't know who else for the whole week. But that's not being an expert. That's having some experience at producing my own albums. It's not making me a producer. I mean, John Cooney-Birdie, he's the guy who masters all my records. He's an engineer. He's a producer, right? So when I send him my mixes or I ask him a question, he's the one who teaches, right? And even if I remember a few things that he says, which I do, I would never dream of going online and pass them as my own, not because I would be disrespecting him, but because there's no foundation over those tips that I might share. So if he says, watch the compression on this instrument, I can't just turn around and make a video saying, hey, Alex, make sure you watch that distortion or compression on the instrument, because I have no reasoning behind it. Okay, so that's one of the most important things about teaching. And so it's a bit of a rant, but I realize that if there's enough bad information out there, if there's enough stuff that's just time filler for a video, if there's enough material out there and information that is just there so that I can fill my quota of minutes on YouTube, because that's how it works, then the whole level of the population of the world when it comes to music will just drop and will keep dropping. And as a matter of fact, now a great sounding record like Steely Dan or like the early Prince records, which had a totally different color, and the Queen albums, because Prince didn't really sound that good, but he had that character, and all this stuff that's lost, because now we're all going for the least amount because we all want to record. And you know what? Maybe you're not ready to make a record in your house, in your kitchen, or I like to go to the beach and mix records on my headphones. Nobody mixes records on a beach. Nobody. I've never met any mixing engineer who goes to the beach and he says, wow, great, now I have my laptop and I can mix sitting at the beach or at a bar or on an airplane. How many times have you heard, oh yeah, I like mixing on an airplane? I've traveled, I don't know how many thousands of airplanes I've been on. I've never mixed a record on an airplane. And I don't know anybody who ever mixed one. But then in this world of YouTube and video and constant need for information, then we sacrifice the sacred quality of teaching for filling a quota, and that's dangerous. And it's dangerous the only reason I say it is because we have so many students at my school here in Barcelona. We have a lot, and I have students across the world online. And a lot of them come with all these preconceived notions, and it's no problem. I will teach them. I will tell them, this is not how you think it is, and so let's fix it. But a lot of people don't come through my door. A lot of people don't go to a school and don't go to a proper teacher, and they don't go look for a tutor, and they don't go out into the real world where they will learn. Like, I can have all the crazy ideas in my mind I want, but when I hit the stage the first time, and all I'm going on is what somebody who has no experience tells me on YouTube, then I will wake up real quick. But unless you do that, then a lot of people will actually stick to those things that they learn online and on YouTube, and it's a problem. And I don't mean this to be a rant, because I love YouTube, and I think YouTube, as a matter of fact, that I barely use anything else. Facebook is it's abandoned, basically. I use it to send people to this YouTube channel, and I don't use Twitter almost. Instagram is just about the videos and some of the music stuff. But YouTube, I truly believe it. YouTube, I think, is what Asimov once said will be the future, where you can just interface with a machine and you'll have all the knowledge of the whole world for you. But it's everybody can do whatever they want on YouTube, and it's fine. They should do whatever you want. But I'm just warning people who are learning from YouTube, and they should be very careful. And it's not even about saying, hey, but I'm great, so listen to me. All right? So it's not about that, because, but it is about, for example, if I don't know something, to be precise about that as well. So I can tell you, look, this is what I do with my kick drum. But, you know, it worked for that song, but I will also tell you about the 20 other things that it didn't work for, right? Otherwise, don't make a video. Because I understand the need for you to make a video. Maybe you make some money on YouTube. Maybe that's how you promote. But that should never be at the expense of somebody who's starting out with an instrument. All right? It is free, so it's a pain in the ass. You know what? I've been recording the 1 chord a week video. I spent hundreds of hours on it, and I will make $3 on it, on the whole thing, or maybe $10 on the whole series. Because the channel is what it is, but you know, I'm free not to do it. I'm free to say I will not make the video. Fuck YouTube. I'm not making any money. It's not worth it. Screw the people who want to learn for free. They should pay me. So if they want to learn, they come to my school or they hire me online. That's legitimate. What is not legitimate is that I sit down here and pretend to know stuff I don't know and then screw you up as well. So that's the thing. And finally, another thing I want you to know is that even the people who you think are great musicians and great engineers and great this and great that, they have no actual idea of what they're doing. And that's also 100% true. I've met so many of them, and we all agree. I mean, I was sitting down with people from very, very, very well-known bands and great musicians, great guitar players. I know pretty much all of them. And you sit down on a bus with them and you talk about, you know, and nobody knows anything. Nobody, even engineers, they're like, wow, every time I start a new record, I'm like, this is way over my head. You know, and even these people have doubts. You know, but they're doing it, and then from that experience they can teach. But teaching is about being precise. Teaching is about, you know, if you teach somebody, you have to give them the tools and let them work it out, you know, whatever your style is. But it's not about impressing anyone. It's not about making a scene and creating some kind of subterfuge for having more comments or for having a conversation. Teaching is precise because it's a responsibility. And so when teaching becomes just an excuse to make videos or maybe to start some kind of discussion, then it's a problem. And it's something I've seen more and more. And it all came to me when I decided to start telling people like Deadmau5 how much I appreciated somebody who's truly an expert sharing their opinion. And I said, you know, it's not discussed. It's not discussed because it's kind of the elephant in the room. We all know that a lot of YouTubers have no idea what they're talking about. And it's fine. It's fine as long as it doesn't become teaching. So instead of being actually this against people who make videos about stuff they don't know about, it's just a warning for those who want to learn. Okay, so I'm not actually bashing anyone. I think everybody's free to do whatever they want. But you should kind of gain this idea of can you figure out who actually knows what they're talking about, then follow them. That's all I'm saying. And then you can be inspired by other people. And finally, I think on YouTube you can't really learn, because that's kind of the question of today's video. Can you actually learn from YouTube? I think you can gather information on YouTube, and that's what I do. I've done a lot of that. I actually fixed what did I fix at home? Well, the dishwasher didn't work. You remember that from last week. But I've managed to do a lot of stuff. I've fixed electronics. I learned how to do electronics on YouTube. But so you can learn, but more than learn, I think you can be inspired. And so if I understand that you will never learn all the chords from my videos, I totally understand that. You know, I understand that my series of 1 chord a week is at best an introduction, you know, and it will never compete with a great teacher. Probably will compete and pass a worse teacher, but against a great teacher who can see you in person and understand your needs, it's just a series of chords, my series. But it is maybe inspiring. You know, it's inspiring to every week figure out a new chord, understand harmony and a bit of theory, and maybe understanding that it's not so hard that you should be intimidated by it, and so on. So I can settle with inspiring people on YouTube. You know, for teaching I will have to do it one-on-one, but I can settle with inspiring. But as I inspire people, if I can, the responsibility is to be precise. And if I don't know something, I just won't talk about it. As a matter of fact, it happened here. People have been asking questions sometimes about stuff that I don't really know, like how to use this. How do you do this with the jazz or something? I'm not a jazz player. I love jazz. I've heard almost every record out there, but I'm certainly no expert. So or flamenco, right? If I don't know something, I will just say I don't know. But I will try to give you an idea if I can. So I don't know what this is all about, but it got to me when from that innocent comment I left for Deadmau5. And By the way, you should check it out because he truly is an expert. So I've been ignoring you. I've been going on a rant, and oh, that's another thing. Oh man, those videos like rant in the title, they're just terrible. So I think we should all just try to be smart about it. That's all I'm saying. But let me read your comments, yeah? Because so we cool down a bit. And as a matter of fact, my section of the video today I think is over, and I look forward to seeing your questions. You usually always have better questions than the ideas I start with for this series. Let me see. Jose, to me seems that oh yeah, I read that. Mind blowing. You got to learn this is selective. Yes, that's the other thing, Alex. Information overflow. I mean, how much stuff do you need? You know, when you go to school, even if you go to conservatory, how many classes will you go to in one day? Just learn a little something, go home, use it, make music with it, then go back to something else. But maybe another time we'll talk about how I use YouTube, right? I have this kind of, I actually do have the overflow technique. So if I'm learning, for example, I remember when I first got into synthesizers, I got some cool books. But I also got, I said, well, I'm going to see who the best synthesizers are, because I really enjoy the music of great synthesis or great composers like Vangelis and, a lot of them, Jarre and Roach and Schultz, a lot of them, Tangerine Dream. I really learned that, but I said, who's out there, doing stuff? And I discovered like Lisa Belladonna, she's great, she's amazing, and other people. And so I started watching, and then I stopped. So maybe I spend 3 or 4 days watching everything I can. I look like one of those guys who can't put the phone down. Like I'm watching, okay, I'm watching this. And I stay up until 2 in the morning, and then I stop. And whatever's in here, I use. And that's my philosophy about a lot of stuff. Like you want to learn scales? Well, learn one scale, learning in one part of the neck, make music. Then you'll worry about learning it everywhere. So that's kind of how I use YouTube. Teaching is mostly so different than being able to do it yourself. Different skill set, I think. Yes, some people ask me for lessons, but my communication and teaching skills are zero, Alex. I don't think so. But it can be learned. But you certainly are. You're certainly knowledgeable. Let's say. Have you guys watched his cover of One? He's great. Check out his channel if you haven't done so. Yes, teaching and playing are different. Yeah. And Jose says, in my humble opinion, on average, YouTube teaching only aims to shred and develop speed, but music is played without instrument. First you need, that's 100% true. It's like all the different teachers in school, some are better, yes. What I create in my mind, I can't reproduce. Well, that comes from ear training, and ear training and true application of concepts, as you play. And so, it's not a question, but I'll take it as one. So if you want to play what's in your mind, I'll give you the first advice, which is to just play it. So if you have an instrument, and sometimes the guitar, it has a bit of a strange architecture, so it's not really laid out as clearly as a piano maybe. So if you have a little keyboard, and you go for it, because that's a funny thing about music. When it comes in your mind, when you think of music in your head, it's usually fully orchestrated, right? If you close your eyes, you're going to bed and you go like, I'm going to imagine a piece of music. You will actually hear the drums, you will hear all the instruments, you will hear the solo, you will actually hear effects and all that. And so what happens is when you try to relate it to the real world, and if your ear is not there yet, then you have a hard time. So what I would say is, okay, well, start with just, even if you hear a bunch of stuff in your mind, which also is a good sign, right? Because you have the music within you, it's just you can't put it out. So when you hear something in your mind, go for the simplest thing. So listen to whatever it is you have in your head and go like, well, can I find the top voice? Can I find the higher voice? Like a big melody line. And if you can, then you can just literally find one note at a time. The only thing is that I would do is, before you try that, I would sing it a few times, because otherwise when you miss the first 2 notes, your melody will just evaporate. So that's what I would do, and you do it long enough, and then you start seeing how your ear and your mind start moving in front of your fingers. And that's it. That's a trick. That's a trick. The trick is when you can play what you hear after hearing it, not oh yeah, I'm playing what I hear. No, you're hearing what you play. So the idea is that you actually hear something and then you play, but it comes from practice and keeping things simple. Finally, one more thing, if you want to try the rush of being able to do it, you should just pick 3 notes. I always do that with my students. I pick C, D, and E. And when you have just C, D, and E, I hope are you hearing the guitar? It is showing as playing. I know I always say it, but I try doing something with headphones. I don't want to be doing these strings with headphones. It would just make me feel a bit weird. So C, D, and E, right? And you play these 3 notes long enough. And once you play them enough, then you will be at the same level as somebody with a lot of experience. Because if I play C, D, and E, I already know what they sound like before I play them. And maybe you don't. But if you spend 20 minutes doing this, then you will too. And so at that point, you and I will be at the same level. We could actually say, let me come up with a melody with these 3 notes. And you will be starting from the same point. And that means that you will be able to experience what it is like to be in control of what you play, to hear what you play before you play it. Because actually you'll be playing with 3 notes that you have memorized and you have interiorized. And then you'll be able to just create melodies with these 3 notes. Once you get that, you might say, well, yeah, duh, but that's 3 notes. What am I going to do with the other 9? Well, the trick is not to memorize notes. The trick is to understand the mechanics, your brain functions that allow you to hear something and then play. Once you get that, adding notes is not such a big deal. As a matter of fact, you can just start the next day with 4 notes. Yeah, and then you go like, well, then what is truly important is rhythm, maybe. Because if I'm a beginner, I might play like this. Right? But an expert might go, hey, let me save that C. I played 4, sorry. I can't hear anything, but you see what I mean. So I'm... So just using repetition, trying to do whatever you can with these 3 notes, you will develop new things. Then when you add 4 notes, okay, this is not working because I'm not hearing anything and I should be hearing it even if very low. Okay, so if I play 4 notes, now I have an extra color. It's an extra color that I'm not using just because I have it, but I was actually missing it, so I was kind of hoping for it and now I have it. So you see what I mean? That's the idea. And let's see. Could be the root note of the chord or another note. I just go on if the sound fits, unfortunately. Yeah, so hopefully that will help. Oh yes, Lisa is great. You should check her out. She did one thing with the Moog 1. Crazy, just 1 synth. Crazy, she's really good. And Jenny, Jose, oh yes, Alex is great. You see that? And then Jenny, hello Jenny, good to see you. 100 at a time, yes. And you hear the guitar, that's great. I don't know what happened, but for some reason I'm not hearing anything. So I do apologize if that sounded like crap, but probably did sound like what I had in my mind. So if you have any questions, feel free to, or comments or whatever it is. And so I'm kind of moving away from doing 1 hour of strictly topic-based stuff on the Music Talk Live. Maybe we'll leave it like this, a bit looser, if you guys like it. And then if you really want to learn stuff, then there's always the Tuesday stuff. And if I do the 21 Lick series, that will come up probably on Thursday. So we have Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday we just chat about music. But I love gear actually. Is there any gear thing you guys have been watching? Like maybe you would like to buy? The Guitar Encyclopedia is a good YouTube resource. Oh yes, thank you. I always thought that was a great idea. And some of it picked up, some of it just got forgotten, and I think it's a bit of a shame. That was really cool. If somebody's starting out, they can watch that and they get a pretty good start. although it was 6 years ago that I did that. It's still available on the channel. You can check the playlist, and it's called Guitar Encyclopedia. You can watch it. Jenny, you keep forgetting. Yeah, you see, that's a problem. There's so much stuff. There's so much stuff. You know, it doesn't matter. You can watch that, or you can keep watching the new stuff. It'd be great to know what kind of chord sounds best and when. Oh, yes. Is that a question? Because it's a long answer. But let's see. The main thing is that you, how can I explain it? You know, because I just finished recording the 1 chord of the week thing, I find that at the end of that, a lot of your question will be answered, but you won't be able to watch that for a long time, right? Because they come out once a week. So what I would say is that, let's see, how can I answer you properly? Okay, here's one thing. So if you have, now let's see if I can hear myself. Okay, so more or less. But I was adjusting things on the guitar, so kind of in tune. So let me show you this way. If you have a certain interval, because you say 7th, okay, let's take the major 7th, and let's add it to a major chord. Okay, so I have my major chord, and I'm going to add the major 7th to it. So this 7th has a specific sound, but your first step should be, am I hearing this chord and this chord as two, like, imagine like a ball of sound? Am I hearing that, or am I actually hearing that 7th within the chord? If you can hear them as entities, then it's fine. If you can't, you can just really focus on this sound, the major 7th, and now hear it in the chord, right? And then hear it in the other chord. Can you imagine it? Can you imagine? Okay, so you try to visualize the sound of an interval before you play it. For example, you could be jamming on top of this chord and go like, well, I'm not gonna play this. I'm not just gonna move my fingers. I'm going to actually go for that sound. So this chord now kind of absorbs the sound of the interval. After that, what you should do is this. You take another chord, a different chord, and you try adding that same note, which is, for example, the case of minor. When I add the 7th, it becomes a very strange chord. I'm just using this example because I think it's the last video that came out. So it's a very different chord, and the fact that the chord is different will confuse your ear, and you'll kind of forget what the major 7 really sounds like, and you'll hear this other ball of sound. So you'll hear this sound and this sound, but you won't hear the color of the interval. And what you should do is focus on that. So focus on that color, and you can do it by comparing different chords, such as major 7th and minor major 7th, right? And then maybe try a major 9th, and you go like, well, major 9, can I hear it? Or can I hear the 7th color, or am I being confused? Am I getting distracted by the 9th? If it's the 7 I'm focusing on, then I should be able to understand the effect of the 7 regardless of all the other stuff. If you can do it, then you'll be able to associate sounds of basic chords with their extra notes. So if I can imagine a major chord, and I can imagine a 6th and a 9th, I should be able to get a feel for that chord without actually having to play it. And that's how you'll be able to do what you want, which is, I think here a 6-9 will work. You see what I mean? And then I'll play it and go like, no, it doesn't, right? Or you go like, yes, it is exactly what I wanted. Or maybe it's a bit too much. Let me just try a 9th without the 6th, or maybe it's the 6th that I need. But it's not trying a bunch of chords, it's you having an opinion on each of these sounds. Okay, I won't go as far as giving them colors because that's a bit risky, so I wouldn't do that. Hopefully that helps you. Nowadays YouTube video promotions are a bit crap. Yeah, tell me about it. Like, I have some videos that have like 100 views and 30 likes, and nobody else is getting them. I have no idea what it means, because I would accept people saying, well, your videos are shit, because then it's perfectly fine. You know, it's legitimate that people don't like my videos. But what I don't understand is, I don't understand how, if I have a video with 100 views and 30 likes, YouTube is not showing it to anyone, even to the subscribers. I don't know. By the way, subscribers, I was going to do something at 10,000, but I think we have to tone it down a bit because it will take forever. So when we get to 9,000, we'll do something, all right? I think we're not too far from that. So maybe we'll do a little giveaway or something. And then there is finding the right chord to match the lyrics and mood. Yes, so that's what I mean. Find an idea for each of the chords. YouTube lacks the relationship between teacher and student. Today I would like to pay for personalized classes if I had the time and classes were affordable. Currency exchange is a bit crap. Yes. Yeah, I understand that. I have some students online from countries and they go like, wow, that's really cheap, you know. And others who say, I can't afford it. And, you know, I'm not afraid of charging what I charge for my lessons. I think you know, if you go to any professional with long years of experience, then, but you know, it's not what I charge is totally in line with somebody of my level of experience. But for some people from some countries, they go like, oh, that's great, that's great. Like, I start tomorrow. And some other people are like, well, thank you, but you know, I'll think about it. And that's kind of what the purpose of these videos are, so that we can maybe not be exclusive to people with more money, but certainly teacher and student is it. You know, if you are going for a teacher, and I'm saying that, but I never had a teacher, not in the traditional sense, because but I just play 12 or 13 hours a day. So if you play 12 hours a day, fine. You have time to do all the crap mistakes that I did and then fix them. But if you play 1 hour a day and you want to get good, then, you know, you need somebody who's done all the work. And it will say, don't go down that way, go this way, because then that will save you like 120 hours that I spent doing something useless. So, you know, that's what a teacher really does. Pay with Bitcoin. You know, I have no idea what Bitcoin is. I still haven't had time to read up on it. And everybody says, well, you should explore that. And I have no idea. I use PayPal. I tell people, if you want lessons, PayPal. And I've been offered Bitcoins, but I just don't know what they are. So maybe I'll have to find an expert on that on YouTube, right? And learn about them. By the way, thanks all of you who are supporting the channel. I know there's a couple of you in here today. I won't give names, but yes, thank you very much. And if you're new and if you come from the future and enjoy this, if you learn stuff from these videos, if you want to contribute, there's a link down here, says, what does it say? It says something about that. And it's a PayPal link and you can do whatever you want. Pay a lot, pay a little, pay something every month. It's free, it's no Patreon, so you still get all the stuff even if you don't do it. But because I know some of you have asked to do it, that's where it's at. Or you can use the super chat, as some of you very kindly have through the last few weeks. And but yeah, Bitcoin, no idea. No, you see how smooth that I put that contribution thing in? Oh well. So can I help you with anything else today? Is there any question? This score is pretty cool. Yeah, no, just send me, Jose, if you want info about the lessons, there's an email. There's an email down here, because the website right now is only for the school here in Barcelona, so it's totally different, and there's no rates on the website. But send me an email at, there's an email down here. It says private lessons and an email. Email me there and I'll give you all the details if you want. Great. Yeah, and anybody else who's interested, you know, do that, and I'll give you the information and then you decide. It's perfectly fine. Oh, Indrajit, if you're watching, you're not in the chat room today, but the CDs will go out on Monday, because we had a bit of a problem with the post office, as a matter of fact, but they're going out on Monday. You'll get them, and I do apologize for the delay. We haven't seen Indrajit in a while. I think he's been very busy with work. That's what he said. So, I don't know. Oh, one more thing I would like to try, if you're up to it, maybe next week or whenever we can, I will try a new mode here on the stream that is super low latency, so I'll be able to see your messages in real time almost. but I'm afraid that it might play some tricks on the video thing. It might do a lot of buffering. Are you cool with that? If we could start with that, and if it doesn't work, we'll do a new stream the same day. And I don't like trying stuff, but it's the only way to do it. I have to try stuff live. Or maybe you'll see me pop up sometimes during the week, and if you see a notification that I'm live, and it will be called like test or something, or low latency test, please join me. All right, just for 2 minutes. I just need to know if the thing is working. Yeah, and then so I don't have to wait around for 30 seconds to read your questions. Learning from YouTube videos is also it is, but when you hit, when you're lucky and you find somebody who's really good, then it's amazing, right? It is amazing to sit down and hear somebody who really knows what they're doing, and they talk about it, and that's fascinating to me. I love that. I love, you log on, and most things I just skip. I don't even watch, but sometimes I go like this, like Prince's engineer, right? She has something to say, and maybe she talks for an hour, and people are so impatient, like, well, will she get to it? Shut up. She recorded in 1999. What have you done, right? She was there when Prince was writing Purple Rain on his piano at his house. So shut up, sit down for an hour, and if you can get 15 seconds of something useful, that's it. Shut up, say thanks, and go back to your whatever you're doing, right? And so I love YouTube for that kind of stuff. A person could spend 6 months on something that seems great, then all of a sudden could find out that the method is wrong. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't want to blame it all on the YouTubers, because if you are used to having students in front of you or on a screen in front of you, then it would be very hard for me to give lessons to somebody who I never see. So I understand that. The problem I have with YouTube is when you don't know what you're talking about and you still do it and present yourself as somebody who knows. That's the only problem I got. Of course, I understand that this stuff I do is not extremely consequential to you learning, because it's the wrong place to do it. It's entertaining sometimes. It's entertaining about because you're watching. Oh, wait, I learned something and I can trust this guy. But the teacher needs to see you to help you, and that's not the fault of the guy who makes the video. It's the way it's presented. So how to find a good teacher? Maybe seek reviews. I don't know. A lot of reviews are fake. But if you're looking for somebody in person, then you should look for somebody in your area. Maybe go to a music store, somebody you trust, and ask them. If you're looking for online, it's pretty simple, because all of us, we are here too. So if you see somebody, you go like, man, I really click with this guy. This guy is really on the page, in the same page, on the same frequency that I am. I understand how he thinks, and I think he'll understand my problems. And a good teacher is a good teacher. Maybe we'll take you down one way or the other, but or maybe try a few lessons. My advice is, if a teacher is showing you things because he knows he has to show you things, drop him. If a teacher says, okay, I don't care if you like the lesson or not, I don't care if you're entertained, I don't care if you go home happy or feeling like you don't know anything, I don't care about any of that. I don't care about you staying for the first month or two. What I want is that 3 years from now, or 1 year from now, you look back and you've progressed 20 years. That's the only thing. So if you find a teacher who's like, oh yes, here's the scales, go and learn them, and oh, you want to play songs? Great, we'll play songs. That might be good entertainment for you. You might pass the time, but you will not have a good teacher. A good teacher doesn't care if you like the lessons or not. A good teacher will give you the tools to then go out and do your thing, and that's the key. Whoever taught me would be a safe gamble. I've never had a teacher. I have had teachers, but not a teacher. I learned from people playing, and because I got started really quick. 6 months in, I was already playing live, and that was just an example. Yes, but no, never had a teacher myself. And that's what I was saying earlier. If you have like 20 hours a day to spend, you don't need a teacher probably. You'll be able to make all the mistakes yourself. But people want things here and now. Yes, no patience anymore. But you know, it's not about patience. It's about, how can I explain this? But okay, you don't want, you know, people are not patient, right? So they want everything now, but your mind cannot take on everything now. You know, that's something very important. You say, well, I'm a demanding student, you know, because I pay money, and it's legitimate on my part to want stuff now. Even on YouTube, I'm not paying money, but I still want you to give me the stuff now. And it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You need to take a little something, and then like a little ant, you know, you go and you get something, you bring it down to your home, and you work it, and you make something out of it, and then you go out and you take another piece of a leaf, and you go back and you do something. That's how it works. You can't go, you know, I want things and I'm paying for them and you should give them to me. No, you pay for me to know what you need. That's the thing. That's what you're paying for. You're not paying for the information. Come on, there's like everything about everything at any time on YouTube, right? You can find anything about anything right now. What do you want? You want to know how to build, you know, a skyscraper? Go online, you'll find it. But it's not about that. A good teacher will say, okay, the material is out there, the information is out there, and people think it's only out there now with the internet, but it's always been out there. You went to a good library, it's all out there. You know, the books that people study engineering on in university, they're at the library. So the information is there. The teacher knows when and how you need that information. Yeah? So I'm ranting today. I'm actually becoming a YouTuber. Watch me. That's a teacher for me. My college guitar teacher wouldn't let me begin playing until my hand rested right on the guitar frets. 3 months of nothing. Pulling my hair out. Yeah, you know, I've done martial arts for many years. Many years. And students who are always wanting something new, they're the worst. They never learn. Felipe, hello man. I've been trying to learn the arpeggios of Planet 9. Great. From the book, you got the book, the 21 licks thing? Let's see. Look, I remember it. So the thing is, I will make actually, Felipe, I will make a video on each of these licks. But the thing I can tell you is to start really slow, because you have the tab. And if you have the tab, you can take it easy, not go for the whole sound at once. Right? Get that under your fingers. And then maybe you can tackle the harmonics. If you have trouble with harmonics, what you can do is this. Play the note, right? And get the movement under your fingers. And then you play the harmonic. Because sometimes the harmonics is not difficult, but it's a bit more complicated. And because you know it's coming, then you kind of screw up the rest. So maybe take it easy, go. I have a hard time doing it because I'm so used to playing the harmonic, but do that, and then. Or the other thing you can do is just play it open string. You see? Just let it ring open string, and then when you're ready, you'll go for the harmonic. Yeah, I will try to make a video on each of these licks as soon as I can. I've been swamped, but I'll try. Are there successful examples of guitar players that have learned from you? Sorry, maybe a tough question. Not at all, but that might be a good way to promote good teaching, for example. Yes, the thing is, I've had a few, not famous but successful. There are people who have opened studios and they do studio stuff with, and they provide services as guitar players. I've had at least 10 or 15 who've gone on to become teachers and open a kind of teaching facility, school, or maybe at home, but you know, properly. They actually have students, and some of them are well known. They're well known from well-known bands here in Spain, but I don't think they want their name out. they don't want to, you know, go like, oh, you went to a teacher, like, which is to me is great. You know, I admit freely that I went to India, and the first day I was learning sitar from a guru. I have no qualms about it. But some people don't want to, you know, that out. One of them is a very famous, extremely famous EDM guy. It's actually and I mean famous, like he plays festivals with 50,000 people. And he learned music from me. He was already famous. He was already a very accomplished musician, but he wanted to improve on certain things musically, and so he came for lessons, and he spent a few months, and then he said, wow, with this I can really work some new stuff into my music. And I can't say who it is, though. I can tell you, because he's such a big name that, and you know, I don't want to name drop. I don't want to use his fame to my advantage, but yes, that happened. Same thing with music. You only have 10 seconds for getting people attention until they go to the next song. All days where we listen to albums from start to finish. Yeah, I don't let that affect me, you know. I try not to. You send me an email, Jose? All right, I will get back to you. I suppose it's about private lessons. That lick sounded way better than how it came out for me. Jenny, that's fine, that's fine. Just go, take it easy. I'm surprised that I could play, because I haven't played this in a long time. Let me play slowly for you. Right, slow is harder, because when you get started, it's much easier to just play. Can I write solos in MIDI first and melodic stuff and then learn it on guitar? Hello, Manas Das. I don't know. You probably could. You probably could, but it would be hard work, you know, because for MIDI you will have to understand all the exact timing of what do you call it? Like for example, if I play a solo, what was it, the one we saw last week? No, that wasn't this one. This one. Are you actually hearing anything? Well, this one, this solo, for example, it's on the 21 licks PDF. And this one is a great example of something you could write in MIDI, right? You go like, okay, well, it's all 16 notes, and I can just program my 3 notes phrase. And then I play it. But then why would you do that? To then play on top of it? To then learn it on guitar? I guess so, but yeah. I don't know what level you're at on guitar, but usually you're better off just choosing an instrument. Maybe maybe you are a good piano player or keyboard player, then yes. But if you don't have facility with an instrument, I don't think writing it in MIDI would be any easier, because then you'll have the problem of learning how to notate every single thing you want to play. So, like for example, this one would be easy. But if I play this, I have to hear this when I play. If there's feedback, I do apologize. From Funky Robots, right? Now this will be hard to place in MIDI because there's all these different tempos. It sounds like one tempo, but it's not, and it starts on the 3rd 16 note on the 1, you know, it's pretty complicated. So I wouldn't, you know, if I had to write this down in MIDI, I would have to sit down with the guitar and really figure it out, because it was improvised. You know what I mean? So I would suggest, Manas, that you do more on the guitar actually, and maybe start with simpler solos. Congrats on that. Not asking for names, but it is interesting that you help others. Yes, well, I was just a little thing on their journey, you know. That's what you do. You just point them in the right direction, you give them the backpack, and you go like, there you go. A huge deal would be, though, that those that you help on YouTube mention you as their teacher. Well, as long as it works for them. Yeah, well, that's, you know, I understand that. I understand. Thank you. But, you know, I walk into this YouTube knowing perfectly well that for example, let's just be venial about it, right? I don't want to be of poor taste, but let's say that I might think, and I'm not, I don't think it because otherwise I wouldn't be here, but I might think, well, you know, I've taught a lot of stuff on YouTube, and most of it is at a very, let me say, I don't know, I don't want to sound pretentious, but let's say that it's a good level, right? It's at a good level of teaching. It's a good level of authority on the subject. Okay, just that, nothing more. But if I teach you a scale, if I teach you a chord, I know what I'm saying, and what I'm saying is correct, right? That's it, that's all I'm saying. So sometimes you might think, well, if I've done all that, and I'm sure people have watched the videos and they've learned it and they've picked up on it, and why are they not contributing? Why are they not, if I go to a private lesson, maybe it's $40 or $50 for a private lesson, or more. You know, piano teachers can charge $70 or $100 in the States, or here, you know, per hour. And you go like, well, you know, why don't they use that contribution button? But that's a mistake. That's like saying, well, I'm making records and I put them on Spotify and I put them on iTunes, and they're paying me crap. I'm not getting paid anything. I got, you know, if there's like 30,000 plays on a song, I get nothing. You know, some songs have 100,000 or whatever it is through all the platforms, and I get pennies. You know, but that's my problem. It's my problem because I accepted the platform. I accept that YouTube is about what it's about, and you can put the option there, you know, for contributions. You can also put the music as CD, so you people who want, but you can't get mad at people for not buying the CD if you put them on Spotify. You know, you never heard me complain about the fee at Spotify. I can complain about the fact that Spotify pays me very little money, and I wish they would change the scale a bit, you know, but it's not going to change my life if instead of a tenth of a penny, they give me an eighth of a penny, you know? And so it is true that it would be cool, and I appreciate it, you know, when people write comments in YouTube, I really do like it. It's true. It's like when I say that I like knowing where people are from. But in the end, you know, you kind of have to accept the fact that, and sometimes, you know, and that's what ties back into what I was saying at the beginning of the video, I just realized that I'm a bit of an asshole because I was watching all these videos and never commenting on anything. I just didn't comment on nothing. And so now I'm starting to do it. When I see something I like, I leave a comment and I say thank you, and that's it. Maybe just a little thanks. Thanks for doing that. And so who knows, maybe, but you know, if I think you're making videos just for making videos, I won't say anything bad, but I will get out of there, you know. But bad comments, you will probably not see me leave anywhere. But thank you, I see what you mean. Yeah, so it's not really about recognition, I think, but it's about maybe just, you know, being told that what you did was useful. That I won't lie, I won't say that I don't mind about that, you know, because if a person is my student, I see the result. But if you're just watching a video, I don't know if it works for you. And so when it does and people let you know, it feels good. You know, I don't mind at all. People sometimes in Barcelona or sometimes at the airport somewhere, there's a guitar player and they see me and they go like, wow, can I? I'm always like, of course you can. What, you know, and if I have time, I have coffee with them. I never mind anybody telling me that something in my music or whatever it is has had a positive influence on them. It's great. You know, people are bothered by them, but I don't get bugged by, I don't get mobbed by 100 people every time I go to an airport. If somebody in security wants to stop and take a picture, you know, that's great. So on YouTube as well, if you see my videos and you like them and you want to leave a comment, I really do appreciate it. And that's 100% true. All right, everyone. So we've been going for about an hour. Maybe we should, well, let's get back together next week. I'll try to do something like this maybe. Yeah, maybe just a very loose topic, and then we'll do questions. And if you have friends who play the guitar, invite them, because it's fun to see people from everywhere in the world here. And if you're new, don't be shy, join us. You know, don't wait for the replay, but join us and use the chat room, all right? So everyone, if you have more questions, we'll save them for next week, all right? Because we've been going for about an hour, and I think it's time to call it a day. So this week, I don't remember what chord is coming, but it's a good one. I think so. They're all pretty good. And then maybe next week I will be able to start recording for a new series, which will be the 21 licks. And I have another cool idea about another series that I don't know when we'll fit it in. So, but it's cool. It's cool, and I'll give you the name very soon. Maybe in a week or two I'll tell you all about it. So Jose, Alex, that is Art, Manasdas, Jenny, who else is there? Felipe, And well, there's, I don't know, I can't scroll up there, but everybody who's there, thank you very much for coming out this Saturday and for spending time with us, and I will see you next week. All right, have a great one, and let me see if I can turn this off now. Bye.